Hello and welcome to Varieties of Slice of Life, an Otaku Media podcast. As always, I am Anthony, and joining me today is the lovely Zach.
Hello.
And Jarrett.
Salutations, Internet.
We are a bi-monthly podcast talking about games, anime, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Today we're going to be talking about Soul Eater and Soul Eater Not.
Made by Fire Force guy.
Studio Bones! Studio Bones made this. It's the original Soul Eater is a very, cult classic in a way.
Every middle school kid has watched Soul Eater.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an odd rite of passage for being like that weird, edgy, anime-liking middle schooler. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It definitely is, humor-wise, it's very dated to the early 2000s. And I forgot how badly it was until I rewatched it recently, and they just have moments where like the characters change into like a weird, simplistic chibi art style when they're mad at each other, and it's almost kind of cringy. But it's good. It balances humor and action fairly well, and the animation still holds up to this day, in my opinion.
The story, because, well, if we go by normal, it diverged from the anime, or it diverged from the manga in episode 39 out of 51.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost canonical. It kind of got the Full Metal treatment where they screwed it over from the original ending and edited out a lot of random stuff.
It's like, prior to that, the only thing that they added extra was that second episode for Excalibur. Other than that, everything was pretty true to the manga, so.
First 3 episodes are a beautiful way to be. I mean, they did a very good job of introducing you to the series, because each episode has its own take on both the characters and how they tackle stories.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, with Maka's, the very first thing is you show somebody getting murdered, so it's like, alright, this is kind of a serious thing. It shows dynamics between some characters. Then you have Black Star's episode where it just shows how much of a fuck-up he is and how Tsubaki's different, but you don't really know that yet because you don't know the full rules of this world.
Oh, poor Tsubaki.
And then Death the Kids, where it shows how fucking dumb Death the Kid is because of the goddamn symmetry thing. But how strong he is and how he's like a different breed from everybody else and is kind of a big shot to a degree. I feel first 3 episodes definitely do a very good job of laying out the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that because then it's like later on they don't have to explain everything in like the most unnatural sentence structure ever. It's like, yeah, you guys have been students here forever, but don't forget you have to collect 99 regular souls and 1 witch's soul to become a death scythe, which is one of my weapons. It's like, they'd probably know that at this point. Also,
I like how in just a couple episodes, there are just times where areas are just littered with souls, but they're just like, we're gonna pass on them. Black Star's entire episode is just like, yeah, no, there's 99 souls here. Oh, okay. I didn't get them, so. What?
I really like the whole story with the witch Angela and her guardian.
Yeah, Mifune.
Yeah.
Mifune.
Very cool little just mini story. It's very nice.
I know. Having rewatched some of it, I didn't get a chance to finish all of it, but rewatching, there are honestly, I don't think I watched this since middle school, high school. There are still things I like about it, but there's still things I can tell I think I grew out of.
Mm-hmm.
Black Star is definitely a character I grew out of.
You liked Black Star at some point?
A little bit. I didn't find him as annoying, I should say.
I've hated him all the time.
Him and Excalibur, honestly, the two I don't like. I get the appeal of Excalibur. He is funny, don't get me wrong. But the first scene where he comes in, it's super annoying. The funny runs out very quickly for me, and then it's just like, okay.
Yeah, when they spend a whole episode on the same joke, it's kind of.
Get it? He has all these rules.
But he's really strong.
Yeah. I think honestly, the fairy's face when Death and Black Star are asking about him sums up my reaction to Excalibur pretty well. But,
Yeah, that's my favorite part about the Excalibur episode. So it's just everybody's running like the face that everybody makes,
yeah.
and like I feel like it pays off really well. Like I feel like it plays off really well when Excalibur just shows up in the last episode and no one pays attention to him. I think Death is the only character who Death the Kid is the only character who actually like even says a single thing about him.
I'd be kind of interested to see Excalibur on the same level of like Death Scythe. Like if he got the 99 souls and one witch soul, I'd be interested to see how stronger he got. Because I'm assuming he doesn't have one now.
Yeah, that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that because they just refer to him as like a relic and a very powerful ancient weapon, but they never specifically call him a death scythe.
Also,
So yeah,
it's
no,
fucking weird what species he is because it's not really human.
It looks like a Jinjo from Banjo-Kazooie.
God, you're right.
he looks like a weird cousin. I don't think you guys ever watch Rave Master, but he looks like there's that weird dog with a weird cone nose. He looks like a slightly evolved form of that.
It's like Spy versus Spy.
Yeah, with very big feet for some reason.
Yeah, so yeah, and he can turn into a weapon. Because I mean, they kind of explain where weapons come from and not, but that doesn't really work for Excalibur. So it's odd.
Fool.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Oh, it's horrible.
Get the thing out of my face. Fool.
But so the whole weapon and Meister dynamic is very interesting in Soul Eater because they almost portray most of them as either some kind of romantic relationship or they care about each other way greater than like most normal friends would.
Or it's a family thing.
Yeah,
We've seen
or
other people, family members.
siblings, which is weird. But I mean, because you're spending a good chunk of time with these people and you're investing your life in their hands, so it's like you have to have some level of trust in your partner. So I imagine a lot of relationships come out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, what Maka's mom and dad, which we never see Maka's mom, right?
Not in the anime.
I wonder if in the manga.
I remember Death the Kid, like specifically Death was trying to like pick out like a really perfect partner for him, and I think he was like mostly going for more of a like arranged marriage kind of thing with it. Which, as little as I remember about Soul Eater, I remember the design of one of the girls that they showed, which was like a girl with like a Gatling gun arm. I was like, that's pretty cool.
They had some cool weapons. I really like the guy. It's a bit far ahead, but he was a chainsaw and he made a golem to wield the chainsaw for him.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I do like how, like, I want to say that they have a mold for like what a weapon should be, but then there's just weapons that just break those constraints. Because like, there's the weapons that can wield themselves. There's the in Not, there's the character who can be used by two Meisters, and
it also brings up a question of, did the design of the weapon come first and then people were made after it, or like a handgun that didn't exist like 200 years ago?
yeah.
So
very modern like guns as weapons, and then there's like characters like Tsubaki, which is like she's like multiple different ninja based weapons.
yeah. And
Except for one, and then she gets that one fairly early on.
And it's interesting because they're like, oh yeah, there are a lot of special and unique weapons like Tsubaki and Excalibur, where it's like they are just very interestingly made when they were born.
Mm-hmm.
It's also pseudo-implied that you can kind of change how your weapon is. Like, not heavily, but like you can kind of change the blade length and like other things about it, like turn a chain into a pole.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely see that a lot. like not. In the few fight scenes it has, we do see a lot of like morphing weapons.
Yeah.
So the rules are kind of loose, but I never feel like it ruins the story.
Yeah, like I guess you can like kind of change to suit your wielder a little bit more, but I guess like generally you're still the weapon that were born as, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that, at least I don't remember in Soul Eater or Soul Eater Not about them giving like flat out super defined rules for weapons aside from like a couple of key things that they pretty much stick to. Like they don't say that like a weapon can only be one thing. They don't say that like 100% of weapon needs a Meister, because there are people that can be wielded and don't need Meisters.
I'm going to assume there's a Meister out there that has 3 weapons. You know, kind of like a Zoro situation where he's got like 3 swords.
Yeah. Do you think they have to play rock paper scissors? Who has to be the one in the mouth?
Like, oh, come on.
See, I like that character, but I want it to be like a reverse harem situation.
That's the thing we need is a bigger harem Soul Eater Not too.
Yeah, to make it even more complicated.
But the rules are interesting in Soul Eater, but I never feel like they ruin the story because they're not explained enough.
No, everything I think within the world kind of makes sense, given that it's a world that has pretty free-flowing magic and things like. I know we've talked a lot. It was one of our first episodes was about magic systems and stuff like this, so I think they did a good job with leaving it fairly open, but giving a couple of key rules that they pretty much stick to, without any like drastic changes. Like there's some subtle things, but nothing.
That's what they call a soft magic system.
Yeah, I like. Go ahead.
No, I say that was it. I say you gotta like those.
I really like how the witches are like the rules that the witches have, where they're not inherently evil, but like destructive magic is a kind of addictive thing. Like you get kind of addicted to the chaos that you bring. So you know they have like stuff that they have to do, and then they have like the soul protection to like blend into society, and most witches have some kind of animal theme to them.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was cool. Like, you know, Medusa with her snake tattoo. The snake tattoos were always weird to me, but they were cool as fuck. And then the witch Arachne.
And then, it wasn't Felicia. It was... No, I think it was Felicia. I think Felicia was the frog one.
Felicia.
And then the...
Shallow Gorgon with her scorpion stuff.
Yeah.
The witch Angela and like a chameleon.
Yeah.
But... I like that. It was a cool thing. They do bring up the fact that genies used to exist, and I really wonder what the fuck that was like.
Yeah, because Maka's mom's like top move was called Genie Hunter.
Yeah, because there's Witch Hunter, Genie Hunter, and then Kishin Hunter,
which Maka makes at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Which it's like, is she skipping a step? Is there something above Genie? And like, do genies have no rules when it comes to magic? Can they just like create things like actual genies do?
I haven't seen one.
Yeah, so I wonder how long ago those were all killed off. Death went on like a crusade to just purify the world of genies.
Yeah.
Also, I love the fact that like the top brass is just like Death. He's like one of the strongest people in the world, but he looks like a fucking idiot. It's like this like weird like blob man with a skull mask.
I love that.
It's like a more comical Master Roshi.
And then his son is just a normal kid.
Yeah, that was always weird. Like, if Death takes off his mask, because it's shown that he can change his mask, does he have a human face? Or is he just a weird, like, skeleton man? Because, I mean, like, the old Death, before he, like, became that weird, goofy, family-friendly guy, he had, like, this scary-ass mask and all that shit, so I really wonder what the true Death looks like. So
definitely some weird rules with that. Because I remember that Death the Kid, like, because he has Death's genes in him, like, he forever has that white stripe. Like, that's just like a thing that, like, it's just he can't get rid of. because it always comes back.
Yeah, he'll die. It comes right back. You know. I like how in the very end though it wraps all the way around when he's like doing his unconscious final move. That's another thing. Weapons that have like the weird powered up form, like Liz and Patty do when they're fighting with Death.
Yeah.
Death Kid. Like, do other weapons have those? It's assumed so, because like.
Because Soul turns into some crazy looking scythe things that then branch out into like an axe head halberd kind of situation.
Yeah. So, again, you know, it's another one of the things, like, rules that they never really explored enough. They just kind of hinted at, and I'm like, no, you gotta talk about that. Also, I don't remember, Jarrett, you might be able to remind me. If somebody is to become a Death Scythe, do they immediately graduate, or do they have to finish school still?
That's a good question.
Because, like, what are you working for at that point? Because it's implied that they go and become one of Death's personal instruments. But, I mean, they're still...
Probably just... I feel like that would probably be on a case-to-case basis. My best guess would probably be, yes, you're a Death Scythe, but you still probably should finish your full training, so... probably more graduated missions, or more higher stakes missions, something like that. But still probably getting your schooling.
And then
it's a logical sense, because they didn't really touch on that. Like, so what? Like, what if Soul did?
And then I'm also curious as to, like, because they say once you've taken in the final witch's soul, you become a Death Scythe. What the hell does that mean, though? Like, do you just get the title, or is there just a straight up like thing that happens to you physically? Because, like,
I mean, physically, nothing really seemed to change with Spirit, Maka's dad. So
yeah, so. I mean, like, if you eat another witch's soul on top of all that, do you become X amount more powerful? Like, is there a cap?
I feel like it doesn't really matter at that point, because, like, after that point, as a Death Scythe, you kind of just start hunting witches in general.
Yeah.
Or at least a lot more normal or regularly than you would before.
Also, I wonder what they do with the confiscated souls. Well, I guess that Death does have his, like, graveyard that he puts all the stuff in. So I don't know. What happens if you eat a Kishin soul or a genie soul? We got all these questions. Never find out.
I think a Kishin one probably isn't good.
Do genies have souls?
I feel like a Kishin one's probably too powerful.
Do genies dream of electronic sheep?
We'll never know. They're all extinct, apparently.
There is one thing animation-wise I do want to talk about that I didn't think about until I started rewatching it, but I actually kind of like what they do with noses in the show. Like, the noses at first seem weird, but then they seem kind of make sense.
They're definitely stylized.
Yes, they're definitely stylized. Like, everything else kind of feels like normal-ish, except for the nose. But I think that nose changes a lot in characters.
Yeah.
Like, they use a lot of downward angles where you're looking up. And then a lot of times the nose is just kind of like a weird, not like smush, but it's a weird shaded spot.
Yeah,
it doesn't quite look like a nose
underneath the top of the nose.
Yeah, and then like if you go to a normal look, it kind of looks like a normal anime nose, maybe just a little bit like more curved.
It is
because like I would say there's like one part where it's like Black Star. I think it's the mission where they're fighting Masamune, and his nose is just like kind of a circle. And then, like, you just start cutting to everyone else, and they're all just, like the way they've been having them look, where it's a bit, like, flatter.
Hey, Zach, what does Masamune mean?
I don't know what Masamune means, but that's a legendary sword in Japanese mythology.
Okay, because it's in, like, fucking everything.
I forget what Masamune is. Is that...
Masumene's Tsubaki's brother?
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember what it was in Japanese mythology. I don't know if that's the sword of Susanoo used or not to slay Orochi. No, I'm gonna look that up. You guys keep talking.
God, I forgot about how Tsubaki just absorbed her brother in a weird way.
Yeah, that whole episode I think was actually a very.
It's very.
I would feel like it came
episode.
later on. it is. I feel like it. I wish it kind of would have come later on, so it could have actually been like
How early was it?
episode 6.
Really? Was
It's
that
very
early?
early on. It was very early on. Like it wasn't Blackstar's first episode, but it was like Blackstar's second, like just him episode. It was like 6 or something.
Yeah, that's weird because you thought they'd be like they'd have a bit more development before that point.
I can actually tell you.
All right, okay. My memory is off. Masamune isn't a sword. Masamune is regarded as the greatest swordsmith in Japan. He's like the most famous swordsmith of all time.
Aha. Odd, because I've only heard swords, not ever people.
Well, yeah, because like anime loves to name swords after Masamune. It's like, oh, let's name this cool sword after the guy who is famous for making swords.
That does.
Oh, sorry. It was episode 10. Was Masamune?
That is interesting though, because in small side tangent in Bleach, they have a season where a villain named Masamune comes in, and he releases all the swords from their original forms. So it's kind of a cool little like callback. I don't know what that is. Reference.
Yeah, at the very least, a reference.
Anyways, what were we saying? Oh yeah, so the world of Soul Eater is just very, very odd. Like, I mean, some of the characters, like the mosquito guy. Do you remember him?
No.
He works with he's like a short guy with like a top hat, and then he becomes really big buff
Oh, the weird guy who for some reason looks like two different but similar characters, both from Full Metal Alchemist and Cowboy Bebop.
guy. Who the?
Because he reminds me of the clown from.
LeFleur.
He reminds me of him, and then there's also like the Iron Alchemist or something that is from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and he looks like him but not as fat.
Okay, yeah. I was like, what
They
the
like-
fuck are you talking about?
I feel like Japan likes that art style of short dude who looks older with a weird nose and a top hat and a suit. Like slightly different body types, but it has like a distinct look. I know I sound crazy, but
The penguin from Batman.
Yes.
yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's weird. Like, he has some sort of magical abilities, but it's not really stated what he is. Because there can't be male witches, from what it's been shown.
There are sorcerers though.
There are. Oh yeah, there is sorcerers. Because the guy that made all that shit. What's his name? They don't ever show him in the manga, but they show him in the, or they don't ever show him in the anime, but they show him in the manga. He's the guy that made like the temporal vortex. He was weird.
Why does every anime have like I feel like there's so many animes that have that like specific like only women can be this thing. It's like this like it's this ancient bloodline thing, but only women can be it. Like only women can be these witches. Only women can be this thing. Like it's always like that for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of. Now that you mention that, is sort of strange.
Like I don't think I've ever seen an anime like specifically do like only men can be this specific thing. Like it's usually women, just because anime loves to have like powerful women.
Strong woman. So the whole basic plot of it is just like. It stretches on way longer than I thought originally. When I thought it was 27 episodes, like Jarrett said, and then when I saw it was 51, I was like, "What the?"
Yeah,
fuck?
I thought it was 24. Yeah, my initial thought when I saw again that was 51 episodes, I'm like, I don't feel like there's 51 episodes worth of content.
There is not. They could cut down
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, because I remember I'm like, and I didn't even know that they hadn't strayed from the manga. Like after a certain point, so I was like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense." For when I first watched it, I was like, "It seems weird."
But basic plot: 3 groups of students go and they try to get through school, and then there's some shit going on with like some witches making conspiracies to free an ancient demon man that lives underneath the school.
It's called a Kishin.
Yeah, Kishin, which is like the epitome of evil. There's monsters called. Actually, I don't think the monsters have names. Their souls are Kishin eggs, which means that they can become Kishins, but like apparently the school is so good that no one has ever become a Kishin again.
Yeah.
And there's witches, magic, weapons, meisters, which are werewolves in London.
Ow.
And then just magical creatures like mice and cats with oddly high sex appeal.
Oh. It was that
Blair.
Yeah. God, it's like Blair's just like one of the only things I can remember from that show. Like, very few things.
Blair is a very odd character. Like, oh god, the opening for the
Residents.
yeah, the dub. Well, no, I was saying the dub is really good, and the sub is also really good. But like, I'm actually very impressed how good the dub is for how old it is. But the opening shot with Blair singing is like the worst thing ever. I hate it so much because it doesn't translate well at all.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to talk about Residents because there's just a part in the Residents opening where like they're just sitting around a table and then Blair just jumps on the table like completely nude.
Blair is naked for far too much of this show. Like, there's a scene where they're all like chilling at Maka's house and she just comes in a towel and it just falls off.
Oh yeah, and Kids is like, does this happen every night at your place?
Like, she wears a weird bikini when Seoul is trying to study. Just like, it's just Blair's oddly overly like this show in general is just very sexual, and I forgot about it. It's like Kill la Kill
Everything
levels.
involving her dad. Yeah.
I mean, I remember we were talking about this a different time. That like, it's just like kind of weird that like Soul Eater like is just really sexual with only specific characters. Like, they don't really like do it for everybody. They just like sometimes like pick a character and then like they just sexualize them a lot.
Yeah, like Maka never sexualized him once. Tsubaki a couple times. Death Kid's weapons a couple times. Blair a lot. That's like her entire character at this point. But it's again, it's one of those things. It's a very good middle schooler show. Like,
Oh yeah. I don't want to say it breaks in middle school, but it. I mean, I watched it in middle school, so
everyone has watched it in middle school that has seen it. Like, I don't know anybody that's watched it in like high school. Like, unless like a freshman, but like an adult senior in high school. Like, I've never seen anybody like, oh yeah, I just watched Soul Eater. It's really good.
Yeah, I feel like we need to like compile what animes we think fit that mold, and then just like do something with those. Because I know there's Soul Eater, and then there's like Orion High School Host Club, and,
Yeah, Fruit Basket.
Fruits Basket. What's and then like that one
Black
anime
Butler.
that. Yeah, like a lot of them go down to girl like animes too, like animes that the middle school girls were obsessed with, like Fruits Basket, Black Butler, and then what's that one with the Italia?
Yeah, my sister watched all of those. She hadn't seen anime like ever since then, so it's very weird that like odd market that was in. Also, Italia is just fucking weird. Small side story, I dated a girl that was really into Italia, and she tried to get me to watch it. I watched like 2 episodes, and I fell asleep.
oof.
I couldn't get into Italia. I mean, I was super into Orion High School Host Club though. That's my jam.
But anyways, back to Soul Eater. It's a so yeah, plot. There's some like weird story beats that come up, which are very like Black Star's whole Tsubaki thing with her brother. I thought that was way later, and now that knowing that is so early, that kind of I don't want to say ruins Tsubaki's storyline, but it gets her out of the way so fast.
Yeah, it makes her. I don't want to say a side character, but like it kind of like. I feel
She has
like
no development after that.
Yeah.
Because like,
That's why I said I really wish that episode came later, because I felt that would have been better for her and Black Star.
Yeah.
as a growing moment instead of putting it in episode 10 a fifth of the way through the show.
Also, they do the weird thing where it's like, so there are the main characters, and then there's the main character, where it's just like Soul and Maka are the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Despite Death and Blackstar having their own shit. But like, they space Maka and Soul's storyline out so evenly compared to everyone else, and I don't really think Death the Kid, Liz and Patty even have a story. I can't think of anything. Like, I can't think of any character development or growth between them.
No, they work pretty well together, given that the massive symmetry flaws and everything with Kid.
Yeah.
They all three kind of balance each other out.
So their outfits are fucking weird. Like a crop top, jeans, and a cowboy hat.
Or crop top, cowboy hat, and shorts, like weirdly puffy shorts.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
God, just thinking about the puffy shorts just reminds me about Maka's dad gushing over Medusa's pumpkin, like fucking bloomers.
Bloomers, yeah. God.
I love that scene so much, just because like it's like a serious conversation between Death and him, and then like he just keeps gushing over Medusa's shorts, and then like she's like, "I'm gonna kill you." There's a funny visual gag too, where like whenever he like starts gushing over it, there's like little tiny like bloomers like over his head, and then she like makes these like arrow things that are like pointing at him to kill him, and they pierce through the bloomers. It's just a funny visual gag.
Lolly Medusa was weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I get why she did it, because it makes sense. You possess a child, nobody wants to kill a child. So, makes sense. Still weird, though.
Mm-hmm. I actually liked the character of Free, the werewolf who stole the witch's eye. I love in his first fight where he can't quite remember how to use magic right. So he's just like, wolves, ice cylinder, and freezes himself in a cylinder, or he accidentally stabs himself with an ice spear, and he's like, I gotta remember not to put those things where I can stab myself. It's like, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, I like Free. He's a very interesting character. Do we know what witch he stole the eye from?
The head witch.
Oh.
the big bad witch.
Yeah, that's some balls there.
Yeah, that's why he was imprisoned. That's why he's immortal too, because he stole that thing.
I love immortal characters that are just like stuck in jail somewhere or stuck in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, he was stuck in there for 200 years.
God, that makes me want to. Oh man, I wish I could talk about Seven Deadly Sins right now. No, hold back. Bond's best character. No, okay.
Go ahead.
You go on.
I was just about to say, the Witch Arachnid's crew is a very interesting ragtag team of very highly magical creatures. I don't remember why Angela is part of them. Because she is, but I don't remember why. Or is it the fact that Mifune has to work with them to keep Angela safe from them?
Probably that.
That might be what it is.
Knowing Mifune, that's probably his reasoning.
I don't know.
Man, I
Some
really
weird
like
shit.
One thing I think is really weird about the Soul Eater like universe is that it's like all this like, we got all this like witches, all that stuff going on. But then there's like weird stuff like the clans. Like there's all these star clans for some reason.
Yeah.
I like how they're all just wiped out.
Yeah, it's never really elaborated on either.
Yeah, they're all like related in some way, because the ones we know is like, there's Black Star, and then there's Akane. I think his name is Akane Hoshi.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a random one who's just like, who doesn't even appear in any of the animes because she's literally just a joke character at the very end of Soul Eater Not. But she's one of the Star Clan as well, like of a different clan, because there's like multiple. I don't know what this whole like clan stuff is. It's really weird. It seems like an unnecessary like addition to the world of Soul Eater that doesn't need to be there, because it just makes like it just makes Black Star even more Naruto than he already is. Like, he
Yeah.
could just be this ninja character, but no, he's got to be this like weird ancient clan that was wiped out. Like, he's so Naruto, it hurts.
And it's really bad because they're in America too. Like, I think Nevada.
Yeah.
But
which I didn't even realize until I watched Soul Eater Not, because I did Soul Eater Not, then I started rewatching Soul Eater. I was like, you're in America? I don't remember this.
yeah, and so it's like America doesn't have that shit. So it's like it brings up, and they also imply that like people come from around the world to go to this school, but they are very bad with like having it be a standard language.
Yeah.
It's like in Soul Eater Not, they're just very. I mean, probably Soul Eater too. They're very clearly write in Japanese on the board. Japanese is a very niche language to begin with.
I mean, it's not the first anime I've seen this in, though, where, like, there's just this weird language barrier that should exist, but it doesn't. Like, a character goes to Japan. Like, a Japanese character goes to England in America and has absolutely zero problems communicating. Like, I've seen it so many times in anime, it's almost ridiculous.
Oh, man, another really kind of weird thing is Soul's motorcycle that he owns for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It feels weird to see these characters like in cars and driving things. Because it's what?
Why does the kid have a hoverboard though?
Yeah, like a skateboard that turns into a fucking. That was so weird to me, and the fact that he puts it away with magic, so it's like implied that he could do other things with this magic, like possibly fly.
I would say he does fly with that thing.
No, not with a skateboard, just with regular magic.
Oh, well, true.
So I don't know.
Also, Soul is like 14 during Soul Eater. It's like 14, 15.
How old are Liz and Patty?
I had this up earlier. They're like 16. They're like 15, 16, 17. I think it's like from not to normal to post time skip.
How old is Maka? Because I know that Maka's actually like younger than Tsumugi in Not.
Maka is. Where's her age?
Because
Where's her age?
it's interesting because the year doesn't necessarily apply to your age. Like you can kind of get enrolled there between a pretty big age gap. It's just as long as you complete it, you move up to the next class. So you can be young as shit and be in the advanced class.
It doesn't say her age.
So I'm pretty sure I remember hearing like some that would Maka's age, but Maka was like really young, and she's like really skilled, so she's like pretty high up.
Yeah.
There's a character we probably should talk about, which is somewhat important to the plot, which is Medusa's child. I forget what the actual child's name is.
Krona?
Yeah, Krona. They're a very interesting character because, I mean, they're gender ambiguous. I think it's definitely made to be that way, but I don't actually remember which they are.
I might be wrong about this, but if I recall correctly, I believe the anime and the manga had completely different genders for what they actually were.
Yeah, I think in the anime it was a boy, and I think in the manga it was a girl. I think. But they still refer to him as being like, a neutral. They never refer to it as a he or she. It's just Krona.
Wait, how are Shaola and Medusa related? So they both have Gorgon as their last name. Younger sister.
Really? Shaola is Medusa's younger sister?
Arachne is Medusa's older sister. Shaola is her younger sister.
Arachne Gorgon?
Yep.
Some dumb shit.
And then Krona is her child.
Well, it's so dumb because her name is like Medusa Gorgon. It's like that makes sense, Medusa was a Gorgon, so her last name is Gorgon. But then she's got all these like sisters who aren't snake related, but still got Gorgons.
I'm a spider Gorgon. What? I mean, Scorpion is like kind of close, I guess. Still dumb, but spiders like that is a different thing entirely.
That is.
I like Arachnade's design. She's cool. Big titty spider lady. Also, witches are alive for like so long because like Arachnade's been supposedly dead for like 200 years. So that was some shit. I wonder if they follow kind of like lich rules where they like do stuff way in advance to possibly influence future events. Also, I did want to talk about the weird naming scheme they have for just random characters. Where you have like Al Capone and Medusa.
Oh, all the references and stuff, yeah.
That are just weird. Like, Al Capone was a real man. Why the fuck is he in this?
Or how Needhog is a weird, like, Quiche egg ship that's also a dude.
That is a dragon from Norse
That is
mythology.
Yeah, there's also a dragon. Jack the Ripper is some weird...
Just nobody.
Yeah, he's just a weird looking... I like how Japan likes Jack the Ripper, but he always just gets destroyed by whatever the main villain is, or by whatever the main hero is, in like a very quick fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's the one from JoJo, there's this one...
There's the one in Black Butler, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, like Japan for some reason likes using Jack the Ripper, but they like Worf affect him or something similar to that so fast. Like he's just like dealt with instantly, even though he's like, he's a notable serial killer from he's dead. Meanwhile, in America, we made an entire Batman movie about it.
Also, considering the fact that they're in America and Jack the Ripper is just there is weird too, because he's an England guy.
Yeah. And they never tell us like where they go. Like very rarely do they tell us where they go. Like we have no clue where Black Star and Tsubaki go to deal with Masamune.
Yeah, it's like a weird almost like it's implied to be Japan, probably.
Some weird needle village. Then they go to London to fight the werewolf. They're in Italy to meet Krona and all that.
You never see anybody travel except for Death the Kid.
Yeah.
And even then...
Death the Kid goes to Egypt to fight Anubis.
Which, did he take a skateboard to Egypt?
Yep.
That's like...
A flying skateboard.
That's hours!
Skateboard. Yeah, he just took a flying skateboard to Egypt.
And then he flew back home, and then he flew back.
Yeah. In time to still help with all that.
How fast was this lad going?
Pretty fast. Yeah, and then there's the weird scene with Liz and Patty being tied up by the mummy, and I was like,
yeah, this show is just way too much sexualization for no reason.
It has the weirdest parts. It's just like, did we need this here? No?
Did we need Liz and Patty to be tied up and have them be pulled on their clothing? No, we're gonna do it anyways. I'm not into mummification, but somebody is.
Don't get me wrong, I can appreciate some fan service here and there, but come on, it's...
And then I do want to talk about kind of the final bit where like the Kishin is alive before we move on to not. Because Kishin is a very bland but interesting villain. Because he's not in most of it. Like when he is, he's just kind of like this husk, like that Arachnid is like taken care of. And then when he finally decides, he's like, all right, I'm going to go kill stuff and, off Arachne, and then goes and gallivants, he, like, develops a personality.
Oh, you mean Ashura, who's also Death's kid? One of Death's sons?
Really?
Yeah.
It
hasn't marked as Death's son, but that's probably something that they changed.
I'm like, that is never brought up.
Yeah.
Because that brings up a whole lot more litany of, like, crazy shit.
Wow, he shows up in episode 18?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's, they reference him a bit earlier, too, when they talk about the Kishin, because they show him in, Death's, like, army, that, like, his, like, personal service army.
Oh, okay, so his weapon part... Ah, okay, so it is Vashra. Alright.
So he ate...
I thought his weapon looked familiar. Yeah, he ate it.
Yeah, he ate his weapon, but, like, is his weapon still alive? Because I remember I talked about this with somebody.
It says formally. It's still usable, so... It probably... Well, they talked about weapons consuming other people's souls. Like that was one big thing they talked about Soul when he got the black blood in him was like, oh, he's about to devour and take over Maka's soul. So it's probably that kind of situation.
I see. Still weird. Still very weird. The final fight when Maka is fighting the Kishin with like a drunk boxing style where she's not really conscious of it.
Oh, I think I know which part you're about to talk about.
I love this part. It is fucking horrifying. So the Kishin pins her down. She's unconscious. Like a bunch of scythes pop out of her because you find that she's like part weapon. Which I think it's cool that Meisters can also kind of be weapons to a degree. Like Liz and Patty can use each other and have soul resonance despite them both being weapons. But it's usually just a human and a weapon. Yeah. But, so Maka's asleep, and then the Kishin, like, crushes one of her kidneys, and then just tells her to wake up, and she just starts screaming.
Yeah, I gotta give kudos to Laura Bailey, who's the voice actress for Maka in the dub.
Holy
shit. That scream was way too visceral, because that was one of the parts I watched today, and I'm just like, oh my, that is way too good.
Yeah,
that is very real.
Very real. The Japanese one is pretty much on par with that too, but in a different style.
I do like that they use drunk boxing, or that they use Sagan and not technically.
Yeah. I don't know if it's called drunk boxing, it's just my best word for it. She's unconscious and she's fighting.
I've heard it called that before. It's like that, or it's like slumbering, something.
Technically speaking, drunk boxing is a fighting style that is used by like drunk people occasionally, but it is just a fluid motion of movement that allows you to be unpredictable.
You're supposed to keep your body like non-threatening and loose and like.
Mm-hmm. They shouldn't be able to see your movement coming.
Yeah, you're not like tensed up. You just relaxed the whole time. You gotta be like water.
Very difficult style.
Yeah, that's very big on countering.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, then they kill the Kishin with Kishin Hunter. That's a big cool thing. I don't know how Maka knew how to use Kishin Hunter, let alone that be an entire level above Genie Hunter.
Anyways, as they say, it was like, oh, she's going to use the thing that her mom used, which is Genie Hunter. And she's just like, Kishin Hunter. I'm like, okay, I feel like you skipped a step, but alright.
Aki, you just developing new techniques without even trying them out. Cool. Yeah, so it's... Overall, I liked Soul Eater. I feel like it was a really good anime, especially for like middle schoolers, but I think the older you get, you really can't watch it as much.
The music, though, before we switch over, the music for that, really good.
Death the Kid's theme was really good. I remember that being...
So Scandalous, really good, especially when you listen to the whole thing. Because it's like what they use for a lot of the title cards. The dub.
Black
Resonance.
Paper Moon. Resonance.
That Resonance is so good. Resonance is one of those things that, like, no matter what time of year it is, I always love listening to it, but it gives me such Halloween vibes.
Good luck trying to find either of those on YouTube or online, for that matter. Black Paper Moon was really difficult to find for some reason.
I say Resonance, I found pretty easily.
I don't remember Resonance being hard to find. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, Resonance is like, they got multiple full things of it online, so. Yeah, both are good. Okay, so while we're on the topic of the music, did either of you also not care for the ending songs?
Yeah, they were just kind of meh. I mean, I like the visuals, but they were...
Yeah, the visuals were nice, but I really just didn't care for the music.
I mean, I don't remember. I don't even remember Black Paper Moon. I don't remember anything besides Resonance. I remember one of them. I think it was one of the EDs had like, was it like Mako was in a dress and then like fucking Soul was like a piano player.
Yeah, well, it's part of the show, but I might think that would be part of the ending too. I really do appreciate though how this is like another anime that they have characters in multiple outfits.
Yeah,
because it drives me nuts when they don't do that, unless there's like a good reason for it.
Maka's other outfit though, she is like all over the place with that. The one that they keep using in the second ending. It's like two different stockings and a weird mishmash jacket.
Oh yeah, where she's walking.
It's all over the place. Yeah, I'm just like, and that is all over the place. Also, I like Kid being in a suit.
It fits
Kid
his
being
character.
in a suit in like the lounge is just like, with like Jazz going. It's like, yeah.
Tsubaki wearing that without meeting Black Star is weird. Like, if Tsubaki didn't wear that on their first day, and then she met Black Star and then started dressing like that, I'd be like, alright, that makes sense. You know, it kind of matches.
Oh, her normal outfit.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even say that Meisters match their weapons, because what the fuck are Liz and Patty in comparison to Death the Kid?
What is that even in relation to like their background? Because like they're from the Bronx.
No idea. Like, it is such a weird, random outfit.
Like they're just like they're from New York, and then they just dress like they're from the country.
Yeah, and they wear normal clothes in a lot of flashbacks where they just wear jeans and a t-shirt.
Ox's weapon, who wears like a fucking Cyclops visor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ox's weird fucking hair.
I love it. Man. Both his weapon, both him and his weapon match, and having like something really dumb on their head.
I look forward to when we talk about the few characters that are in both Soul Eater and Soul Eater Not. The differences between like, I think there's only like two big differences between two characters that we can talk about, but Ox is one of them, and I can't wait till we talk about that.
Is there anything else we want to say about Soul Eater before we move on, though? I feel like we covered it fairly well without giving too much of a in-depth BS about it.
Pretty much good. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
All right, Soul Eater Not is the not continuation. It's technically a prequel to Soul Eater, but it's its own side story that just takes place in the same universe. You can pretty much watch these completely without seeing the other one, with no real like major standing that's gonna like fuck with you in the storyline. There's a handful of characters that come up where you'd be like, who the hell is this? But it's more for a throwaway thing or a gimmick.
I mean, if anything, Not explains certain things better than regular Soul Eater does.
Yeah, but then they don't explain other things. Like in the entirety of Soul Eater not a single mention of Keishans.
I didn't need to know what Keishans were.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, but still, like no mention.
She didn't even know what a soul was until like, they saw the thing. She's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, they don't know what souls are. Like, I get it. They're in the Not class, which they also introduced because they don't talk about that, I think, in Soul Eater, that there's two classes, which makes sense. There's one that's about actually going out and hunting Keishans, and then there's the other one that's... What they say it was? It was like non-something target was like the abbreviation for the Not class.
Where you just kind of learn to live with your weapon powers and do other things.
What's the Meisters then? Like,
I was like, I don't understand the Not class. The Not class doesn't make any sense. It was like, why do they have like? I would perfectly understand it if it was this whole thing where it's like, I was like, oh, you figured out your weapons, and this is how you're going to be able to adapt to society. But no, they're like, they still have to be like weapon Meister pairs. So like, why are even Meisters in the Not class?
Sorry, I found what the abbreviations are. Not is normally overcome target class, and Eat is the especially advantaged talent class.
So, okay, the only way that this would work is like with the situation Zach's putting out, where it's like there's weapons that learn to control their powers. Bring in Meisters that are from the Eat class that just help them resonate. Like, that is it. That just helps them like train, because once you're a weapon, you can't really do a whole lot by yourself.
So what they describe the non-combatant portion being is that they say that it's a larger majority of the school is dedicated to training demon weapons to control their powers, teach Meisters basic skills, and allow students to take advantage of the educational resources of the institution to further their individual careers. And then the Eat class is obviously for, dedicated to fighting evil and upholding the world order.
Yeah, those are very, very big gap there.
So it makes Not class sound like business school. Or like a trade school, kind of.
Yeah, we don't really know like how prestigious of us like Death it's Death Weapons Academy or whatever. It makes sense on why it's like this school that's known for training these like super powerful fighters and all of that. But why would it be known to also be this like prestigious like Hope's Peak Academy Danganronpa-esque school of like also having a really good like courses? Like we don't learn anything about that.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's like a lot of world governments want to have good standings with the DWMA, so they give them a lot of money to like be like, oh hey, come help me.
Oh yeah, can we talk about the fact that one of the main characters for Soul Eater Not is a princess to a country that we never get a name for, but that this seems like this is fairly modern day, so why is there like an old school like princess situation going on? Like
that's like so ridiculously anime though. Like you can find that in any anime, just like the princess character from like some ambiguous European country who just comes to another country. Like, was it Tadakun doesn't fall in love? God dang it.
So Death City is, because we were talking about this earlier, Death City is in Nevada.
Okay, that was right.
And its alternate name is Death Vegas for some reason.
Death Vegas is way fucking better. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's called Death City, or it's also known as Death Vegas. I'm like, why wouldn't you just call it Death Vegas? I guess because the school's there. Also, it says that the DWMA's main branch. So there's other Death Weapon Meister Academies then, because it says its main branch is there.
So why the fuck is that not the main combat thing, and everywhere else is to teach you how to be like control your weapon powers?
Who knows?
Also, I was looking at the characters' names because I forgot Mei's or not Mei's. I forgot Anya's name. Fucking Mei's name is just meme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you watch Dub? Did you not know that until now?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that until now.
I watched the sub, so I was definitely like reading that and I was like the first episode. I was like, man, it's gonna take a bit to get used to.
Oh yeah, no, like I knew as soon as they said her name, I was like, it's like I remember Mimi from Digimon. I'm like, I know how they're spelling that. That's just me, but I'll roll with it.
There's so many other ways you could spell it, though. Come on.
Like like M-A-I, or no, that would be my mind.
M-A-I? I don't know. It's dumb. I'm saying it. So it's kind of like a love story, goofy slice of life thing that takes place in the same world, with main character Sugumi, Mei and Anya, which Anya is the princess we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a huge fan of slice of life ones. I enjoyed it. I think it was funny and it had its moments. There are also some really surprisingly dark moments in this that I wasn't prepared for.
Oh yeah, no, they did a very interesting job of hitting you with the comedy and the dark notes in that show.
I have to say, like, I love Soul Eater Not. Like, it is the perfect like spin-off anime of anything. Like, this is what a spin-off should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just love it. I love its like almost imperfect blend of like just comedy, slice of life nonsense, and then like actually serious like action.
And then they explain a lot of things that don't get explained in the original, like why the fuck Soul Eater's name is Soul Eater. It's because it's a stage name, which I love that.
That you can just submit in, but then if you don't like it, you have to wait 2 years before you
that's
can
a weird
refile.
That's a weird rule. I wonder if some kid was like change his name every day and they're like, fucking stop.
Yeah. And like the paper even says like you're required to go by the stage name.
Yeah.
Like what a weird rule. Like,
so is Blackstar's name Blackstar, or is that just a stage name?
His name actually is just straight up Blackstar,
So
and there is a star in his name.
Yes.
Like that is actually the proper way to type his name.
Okay, because I'm looking at my anime list. It's like the star and then star.
Yeah, that's how Star Clan is. So that the Akane, like the black-haired dude with the glasses. Oh yeah, I forgot he does actually show his star during
on his
the
eye.
Soul Eater Not. Yeah, but he is
that's right.
obviously. I knew that he was a Star Clan, but I forgot that he actually showed that in Not. But yeah, his name is Akane Hoshi with a star in the middle.
Huh.
Good old Ian Sinclair.
Oh, I got a dub if that's Ian Sinclair.
Oh yeah. Well, it's either him or he does Clay, but I'm fairly sure he does Akane.
He does Akane.
I don't know who does Clay, but his voice sounds familiar.
I really like the usage of side characters, how they expand on their story. Like Liz and Patty are the other main characters, but they don't get a whole lot aside from like a handful of lines of backstory. But in this, they kind of go into it and their personality and like,
and how they become not garbage people because
Yeah.
they're pretty rough in the beginning.
Also, I do want to talk about like the final scene and Not real quick. It's not the very last scene, but it's the last scene you see before they hit the credits, because then there's like the post-credit sequence.
Yeah.
But literally the last shot before they go to the credits is Tsugumi sitting at a desk, and she has a mug that has milk in it.
Nice.
It was just such like a little throwaway thing. I was like, I see what you did there.
Yeah, I love the joke with the fucking milk, the thing of milk. It's just like,
I would like a rice pilaf. Milk. This isn't what I ordered. Well, it's what you got.
I love that people went there on purpose because like, oh yeah, the waitresses here are super mean to you and they'll get your order wrong.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
It's like, why the fuck you going there then, man?
it's like one of those guys from like a blend ass, like, sick.
Death Bucks. That's another.
Other main Anthony will greatly appreciate because Master, who's the owner of Death Cafe, in the dub he's voiced by the same character who does Madalass from Book of Bantora.
Hell yeah. And he's always cleaning the same glass.
Yeah. Also, I love the death glare he gives a couple of the customers, like when they're like trying to be rude to his waitresses.
Yeah, he's a very caring guy, and I appreciate that. Oh, also, just want to point out, Soul Eater Not is free on YouTube right now. It's been on there for a couple years, so go watch it.
Huh.
So, not a lot of animes like that. Soul Eater is definitely not.
That's because they're on Netflix, so yeah.
But like I do like, you know, Soul Eater Not does do a really good job at like fleshing out characters that like really weren't too important. Like one like Liz and Patty is like gets super fleshed out Not when they really didn't get much in regular Soul Eater. Like you get like pretty much their whole backstory and Not get like you get a character arc with Liz and Patty and Not.
Yeah.
But then you also get like characters that like we forgot were even in regular Soul Eater but are in Not. Like we get Akane and Clay for one, Kim and Jacqueline,
Which
Sid.
I completely forgot that Kim was just in normal Soul Eater. I thought it was just Jacqueline. And then I was like, who's Jacqueline's partner in Soul Eater? Because did they change it? And then I saw it was Kim. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they look.
Yeah. Also, those designs don't age very well. Like Soul Eater Not looks really good. Like the character design is really good. But if you go back to Soul Eater, it's just very like.
Yeah, two biggest characters is Kim to a lesser degree, but Sid. Sid looks so different between Soul Eater Not and Soul Eater. The first episode that he's shown in Not or in Soul Eater, he looks.
I like his,
so skinny and small.
I will say I like his design better in Soul Eater though.
Do you?
You could fight me on that. I like it better. I don't like his face in Soul Eater Not. His eyes are too far apart.
I love Soul Eater. Soul Eater Not, he looks so cool. Like that's such a cool.
Also,
like
he looks.
It's hard for animes to make like black characters look cool. Like usually they don't look. They usually look a bit racist, but like Sid looks really, really cool in Soul Eater Not, but then in like regular Soul Eater, he's like this lanky skeleton man.
His wife too, by the way. Like they did a really good job making both those characters because they look perfectly fine. There's nothing odd about them.
Yeah. But like, I think Sid in Soul Eater Not also has the body mass that he gets when he becomes a zombie. Because if you just look at Soul Eater Not and then see when he becomes a zombie, he gains muscle when he becomes a zombie.
Yeah. Also, I want to talk about that real quick.
We're gonna talk about his death, aren't we?
Yeah, I want to talk about that because that was fucking weird. Because in the anime, it happens, but like it's said that he's dead, and you see his body, but you just see his like legs. In the manga, though,
yeah, Statue of Liberty and killing him.
Statue of Liberty. Yeah, because I think in the original Soul Eater they say something about the Statue of Liberty. They show it because he has a giant hole in his forehead.
They say in the anime that they show like a silhouette of like a small Statue of Liberty in his head.
But that is not small. That is ridiculously big.
In the manga, it's huge. Also, he dies in Soul Eater Not.
Yeah, he's just straight up dead, and then they like show
a completely different degree of him like being put in a chair, like used as a message by Shaola. It's just like he's dead. They even said that he's dead.
Yeah, like when they said like, "Oh my God, he's dead," I'm like, "No, he's not. Why are they so like?" I know they're trying to be dramatic, but like we know he's not dead.
Yeah, it's weird because in Soul Eater, like anybody's watched Soul Eater knows that Sid is the fucking zombie guy. Like it's just the zombie feature, and not. We see him die, and they make it like this really big deal. But also, the weird part is that they never bring him. They don't bring him back as a zombie and not.
Yeah.
So, like when he dies, he's dead for the rest of Not.
Even though even though they say that Stein has a really weird habit of turning people into zombies,
and he's alive in the first little bit of Soul Eater. Like he dies during Soul Eater.
He dies after the third episode.
So this brings up the question: like, does the events of Soul Eater not are they canon in this world? Like, what is canon at this point? Because like, if that is the case, then between episode like 2 or 3 and 4,
Soul Eater Not takes place.
Happens.
Or like the later part of Soul Eater Not takes place.
Yeah.
Which, like, up until Sid's death, yeah, is totally plausible. But it's that little part right there kind of messes with the timelines and stuff.
Actually, that makes it even worse because, that doesn't work. Sid is alive while Death the Kid, Liz, and Patty are partners.
You're right, and they're not partners and not like all they said was
until
like
the very end.
Yeah, all they said was like, yeah, Kid got us out of like a pretty bad situation, so we're trying to be better. But that's, oh man, yeah.
Come on, Hishimoto, Makazuo, fucking get your story straight.
We cracked the code, and there is plot holes in Soul Eater and Soul Eater Not.
Hold on. What is the time difference between episode 3 and episode 4? Let me see. I now gotta figure out what the
when does Halloween happen? Because that's when all the Not stuff happens. Is on Halloween.
Also, I loved that in Not where they're like, oh yeah, you have 3 months to decide between Mei Mei and Anya. Hey, it's the Halloween festival next episode. Like that time jump was fucking. I got whiplash from that.
I also love that she still didn't like get any closer than like it's like I have to decide on one of them. It's like, well, did you? And she's like, well, no.
I chose both of you, but that's not how that works. So you're not gonna be with me? I didn't say that. She kind of like trapped him in this weird thing where it's like she's like, no, I choose both of you, but if one of you doesn't choose me, then I have to go the other one. So you both have to choose me if you want me. Kind of a dick move there, Sugami. Out of 3 characters, who's your favorite? Who?
Anya, of course.
Same.
Yeah, I love Smoothie. She's good. Yeah. But Anya's just so fucking funny. Like everything she does is absolutely hilarious.
Just constantly calling everyone commoners and just commoner's wisdom knows no bounds is my favorite line.
Me and Zach both appreciate commories.
Yeah, commoner memories. We have to put that face in the visual like version of.
I got you.
Version. But she's got like so many moments that I love. Like I love that moment. I love when they're cleaning the pool and then like Sui's spraying Mei, and then like Anya looks jealous, so then she's like, "You too, Anya," and then she like does this like happy squeal. She's like, "Ah," and then she's like, "Oh, that looks like an expensive dress, though," and then she's just spraying her feet, and then she gets really mad. Like Jacqueline's like, "Guys, stop fooling around." She's like, "Yeah, let's stop fooling around." Also, when they're good, I was gonna say, also, like, I love when she wants to go to the bazaar, and then she's trying to make it. She's trying to get Samugi to say that she wants to go to the bazaar. She doesn't want to admit it herself.
Yeah. So, interesting side fact. In that episode where they fight Sid, which is the one that has the point contention, Death says that Maka and them haven't gained souls, but literally in the start of the episode, Maka and Soul capture Rasputin's soul the night before.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Rasputin's in this, alright.
Yeah. Yeah, because they crash through like the church window and kill him. They don't specifically state the time, but it's plausible that the only issue there is then the partnership between Kid and Liz and Patty.
But then there could have also been
Sid,
a time skip at the end. Well, no, because there was a time skip at the end of...
But Sid would have already had to been dead before Liz and Patty were partners with Kid. Because Sid was dead before Liz and Patty were done with the activation. So yeah, the timeline is messy with Sid and that.
Still odd. Unless some of the events of Slater happen out of order.
Maybe, but they don't talk. But Liz and Patty don't talk about Kid aside from like the one time he visits the cafe.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So,
it's
like,
kind of implied that Kid is the one that brought them there, and it was like, because I mean, in Slater, they show Kid confronting them in an alley.
Oh yeah, no, he's there, but it's like they don't say anything about him, like aside from that one time of the show. In not.
I do want to bring up, because Anya reminded me of something of just, they follow the like habits of Soul Eater very, very truthfully, like the ending of it being very different from how the manga is, and then on top of that, just
like the whole anime, really, the anime like it's like follows the same basic structure, but they change so much.
And then just like the random moments of hypersexual things going on. Because it's a romance thing, so it's like, sexuality is part to do with it. But it's just a shot where like Anya's trying on a gym uniform, and they pan down to just show her entire ass. And it's just a very weird shot because it comes out of nowhere.
And then like everything with Mei being asleep.
Oh god, yeah, maybe she's getting naked.
Various states of undress, and I always love when like Sumi's trying to like put her clothes back on or whatever. May's doing like weird stuff in her sleep, and Anya's just like, Anya's just like, "Will you guys cool down?" Like, I love how Anya just Anya thinks that they have some like weird sexual relationship.
Oh, yeah. So we can't forget about Sugumi's best catchphrase of "That's Gigantus."
Gigantus.
Oh, man.
She says it in like a southern accent too, but she speaks completely fine. And she's from Japan too, so
yeah.
She from southern Japan, I guess?
Yeah, that weird trope of the dubs always making southern Japan sound really southern.
All these goddamn country bumpkins out here.
Like, it threw me off in Food Wars because Megami is from southern Japan. She doesn't talk like that, but everyone else from her village does. Not that one.
I figured.
I like to imagine you're just gonna put the clip of that Megami and then switch it with the correct one.
Yeah, probably. I am now.
Another guy did that as well. Like there was the girl named Osaka because she was from Osaka, and they gave her a cut.
All right, so let's run through the plot of Soul Eater. The quote-unquote plot. There's not a whole lot, because it's somewhat episodical. Yeah, she has no boobs.
What?
I thought you were making a joke. Like I said, there's not a lot of plot, and you went, haha.
I was talking about the fact that you were just using the word "not."
So girl finds out that she's a halberd, which I actually really love the fact that they made her a halberd. because that is a very underutilized weapon in media, in my opinion.
Yeah.
'Cause it's fucking sick.
I like how they did her finding out about her weapon power.
What, just
Just kinda
stumbling and turning into a weapon?
Completely sporadic. Just like her foot turns into one end, and she's like, "Oh god, what's going on?" Like panics, trying to flip over the dog, and then like a different part of her turns into another part, and just kind of chops into a door.
I love how her mom was like, "Oh my."
I mean, we have to congratulate the anime on that, because that's an anime original thing. In the manga, they literally just start with her going to the school.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's
Okay then.
that's
Wow,
sad,
that-
because that was a good
that-
moment.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
Yeah, the manga doesn't establish the dog at all until like the part where the dog's like bad health is important.
Huh.
It's kind of weird that they chose the dog. Like, I get it. It's an important character, but not enough of importance to warrant her going home.
Yeah.
It's still weird though. So yeah, then she's enrolled into the knot class. She goes through. She meets a couple people. You find out.
She idolizes Maka.
Yeah, she does her hair like Maka because Maka was nice to her like 2 times. And it's also like a good Meister. I forgot about that. And then, you find out that one of the characters has like bodyguards because she's important. Do they say she's a princess right away?
Not well in the show, yes, but not to any of the characters. Like none of the
Yeah.
other characters now.
I think they established the bodyguards, but I don't remember if they say she's a princess at the very beginning or not.
And then, so, they get up to some wacky antics. There's hints of a witch and possible bad shit going down. Then it kind of pops off at a bazaar, because I don't really think anything happens up to that. But, oh yeah, the main character has to choose one of the other 2 characters to be her Meister. This is like a weird love triangle thing. And then, a witch poisons somebody. She almost dies, and then she poisons pretty much the entire town, and events pop off.
Well, we can say poison. It's poison and possession because she
It's a
had
mixture
to
of
kill
magic
herself.
and poison.
Also to clarify, Shallow is specifically targeting the not class because they're weak-willed. She couldn't get the E class because they're too strong of wills to hypnotize.
Okay, I was wondering about that because I forgot about that because I was like, what the fuck is she going towards the stronger students?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they end up defeating the witch. She doesn't choose a partner in the end. She's just like, I'm going with both of you until I don't have to. And then it's a big old happy ending.
And in the manga, she has 3 partners. That's like a funny haha joke at the very end.
Soul Eater not 2? Question mark.
I mean, that's where the manga is. Like the manga, the anime, at least covered the whole span of the manga. Like the manga is only 41, 42 chapters, and the anime is all of it.
Huh.
But
along the way, we get other side characters and very interesting side characters. I had to say, I liked every character in Soul Eater or Not.
I liked most of them. Eternal Feather was kind of weird to me. I didn't hate her, but I didn't really like her that much.
I love her because I love the super just unfortunate character who you just feel bad for because bad stuff's always happening to her. You just want to give Eternal Feather a hug because she just has the worst school life.
Also, their dorm brings up another oddly named character in Misery.
Oh yeah, the housemaster, the housemistress or whatever.
She's a character based off of somebody in a movie.
Yeah, from a Stephen King book.
Because in Misery, I'm pretty sure that the way that they portrayed Kathy Bates in that movie is not the same as how she's portrayed in the book. So they based it off of the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they made her obsessed with literature, which I love because that is part of that character. But it's, again, another weird naming scheme because it's not a mythical character. It's just fucking somebody.
I do like that because of that. Sugumi thought that she was the witch of the dorm, but then later it was just Kim.
I like how she's an actual witch, though.
Yeah, Kim is just an actual witch, but she has Tanuki magic, which for some reason is healing magic. She has no aesthetic of a Tanuki whatsoever.
Kim's
Maybe just
Kim's aesthetic is very heavily changed from the original series. Very heavily.
And they also compare her to a Tanuki at some point, which I don't really get.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they were looking at the Tanuki that Anya bought, and they're like, "Oh, this reminds me of Kim." It's like, does it?
Fuck, what is it? Josephine.
Yeah, Josephine the Tanuki.
I love the line where she's where like Anya's like, it's like her name is Josephine, and then Tsumugi just looks at the giant balls on it.
I did enjoy. Also, Kana, our fortune teller, that just has a bunch of tarot cards that aren't in a normal tarot deck. But turns out, fortune telling, all that stuff, you can just kind of add cards to your own tarot deck.
The flat, I love that one.
Yeah, it's like a cutting board with a flat symbol on it. Like it's such such a specific card.
I like how Anya tried to fight her when she read her story.
Oh yeah,
I love. Oh my God, I love how she she has all of these like cards that aren't even part of the tarot, but she always perfectly pulls the ones that she needs, showing that she is an actual like super expert fortune teller.
It's really funny.
That's my favorite moment. It's like, I bet you like those ears, don't you? Not really.
that's Kana Summer Edition.
just the look on Snuggie's face when she's like, I bet she actually does like those ears.
I like when she's sprinkling water out there and Eternal Feather just comes by and she's like, please don't do that.
That's not really doing anything. Yeah, it feels cooler already. 5 minutes later. Alright, we're going inside.
I wish they did more with Eternal Feather's fucking robot head. I wish they showed it like a third time. I think they only showed it like one extra time after the original, after the first appearance of it. You just see it running outside the dorm. I wish they showed it like more or had it do something like really dumb later.
Stein is such an asshole.
Yeah, we get to see more of Stein's comical side and assholiness. With that, and then the whole thing with the antidote for the poison. As it turns out, Mei Mei is, been controlled by that witch for a long time, for some reason.
Yeah, Mei Mei's whole thing of her forgetting stuff got old real fast.
Yeah, forgetting stuff and then the sleep fighting is just like, I don't really.
Okay, the sleep fighting is a bit more forgivable, but like.
Her whole episode of her forgetting what happened and then learning everything, like the sloth, the weird money that she got from a casino,
episode though. I love an episode like that where it's like a character retracing their steps on what they did because they don't remember.
Yeah, a story told out of order.
I feel like I just feel like the Mei Mei story is a bit like, because like they don't really explain it too well because like we don't really know about the beginning of Mei Mei. Because if Mei Mei's forgetfulness is caused by the witch's like control, then that means that she's been controlled since before episode 1.
Yeah.
Yet we never learn about that.
And it kind of brings up questions as to like, why is the witch testing the poison on an Eternal Feather then? She already has somebody under her control. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Then we have the nice episode that's between Jackie and Kim, and Jackie trying to become partners with Kim.
Yeah, and the it's not Yaoi. What is the other one? Yuri. That's right. Love plot, which was interesting. I like those characters. It weirded me out that when I realized that they were actually from Soul Eater, I was like, oh, because I remember Jacqueline because her power is very cool.
Yeah, with her being a lantern thing.
And then they never capitalize on Kim being a witch, ever. Like they bring it up a handful of times, it comes in use, but they never like. There's no consequences to it. And
Like we had the entire thing of like her nightmare, and then there's like nothing else done with it.
It's like she used her healing magic 3 times. Okay.
So she also, we only ever see like it's shown that she kept the dog, but there's only one scene of her actually with the dog. So it just makes you wonder, like, where is she keeping that dog? We never saw where she's keeping that dog.
It's a lot of just not capitalized upon story plots, which is sad because they really should have been.
Oh, and then Otz's weird relationship with her.
Yeah, he had like a crush on her.
Yeah, probably. Like I said, they go like almost like no. They don't explain anything about it really. Like we never even get to hear what like Ox even has to say about her. Like we see a scene where he's talking to her, but we can't hear him, and then
he says,
she just punches him.
And he says, "Go easy on her for you, go easy on her, will you, for me?" It's like, okay, but why though?
It means like Ox is also aware that she's like she's like putting up a front. Like Ox is like weirdly like understanding of her, but we don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ox is completely dropped after he hands them the money, aside from the part where he's on top of the car fighting when Anya's inside.
Yeah, that we don't see him at all. And he seems very different than he is in this than he is in Soul Eater. Because in Soul Eater, he's just kind of a smart jerk
He's
about
the
everything.
number 1 student.
Yeah.
Isn't
Until
Maka like
Maka
number?
beats him up.
No, isn't Maka number 2?
Until the super death Rin exam, then she's number 1.
Is she number? I thought she was only number 2.
Yeah, she made number 1.
Oh.
That was episode like 6, something like that.
Come on, Ox, step your game up. You're disappointing us.
I do love when he gets on the top of the car and he's like, "I am the Thunder King."
It's like, dude, you're a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Love it.
He held his own there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, also Maka and Blackstar are having a freaking duel in the tournament that's apparently happening on Halloween.
Yeah, that was weird, and it's not even Halloween night. It's the middle of the day.
Halloween day, it's like, okay.
That makes sense. It's like a Halloween festival.
Yeah.
But I like. I find it funny because Maka and Blackstar were fighting in the like a tournament during this thing, but then Ox and this other guy were also fighting somewhere else, which I guess it's not a tournament. This part's not a tournament. It's just a fight for fun.
It's not even an arena. It's
Yeah,
just like a patio.
They were fighting in a park. Yeah, they were just fighting in like a park that was surrounded by like a roundabout. I was like, fuck.
There's like
They were
grass
fighting
and
in like
shit around
there was
it.
like a round. Yeah, they were fighting in like a roundabout that had like a big patch of grass with just like a bunch of other like.
There's gotta be some like, safety
and
concerns with that.
Yeah, no, when half your students are weapons, I don't know. Safety concerns go out the window. What are you, little Timmy? I'm a rocket launcher. Oh no. Okay, gonna need you to tone it back there.
No. Give me the
Oh.
candy, Papa.
Explosion.
It's the Mega Me. She's just a rocket launcher.
Yeah, I wonder how early weapon things on set.
They said puberty.
They said puberty.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. Because I was more of like a 3-year-old just being. Oh, okay.
Oh,
nice
yeah.
shotgun.
Another thing that they didn't explain, like they explained what happened to Sid, but they didn't explain what happened to his wife. Because in Soul Eater, she's all wrapped up in bandages, but in Soul Eater, nothing happens to her.
I thought that was because she went after like Medusa's lair or something.
Oh yeah, I
Soul
did
Eater.
explain this to myself the other night. Never mind.
Yeah, I was like, we had this conversation like yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also, also Medusa in Soul Eater Not is already the school nurse. Because they did mention her once in Soul Eater Not. They're like, oh, we gotta take her to Nurse Medusa. So
They never show her, though.
Medusa's been there for a
they
bit.
never show her or
Never
Death.
show her. Yeah, they never show her or Death. Or Spirit. They never show Spirit either.
Which is also like I remember I showed you guys this, but in the manga, Death like like in the anime, the three main girls through the power of friendship, they managed to beat this really powerful witch. But in the manga, Death and like all of the legendary science show up, and then the witch is like, oh crap, those guys are powerful, and through their distraction, that's how the girls get her. So like the anime like nerfed
Wait, I thought it was
nerfed.
It was Akane and Clay that beat.
I don't think Clay was there. Akane was there, but he was just kind of helping. It was the girls who did finish her off though, because they finished her off when she was distracted from being absolutely terrified of Death and the Scythes.
Literally all the Death Scythes, like, oh.
Yes, all of them are just there, and then Death the Kid's there as well for some reason. He's just vibing.
But he doesn't have Patty or Liz.
He doesn't. He's just there.
My dad brought me.
I love the restriction Lord Death has on him, where he can't leave the city because his soul is bound to the school. But like, it's so big he could just walk around the city and be completely fine.
Yeah, the soul literally encompasses the entire city. Because we see that in Soul Eaters, Maka's just like, I guess Lord Death does have a soul, and then they just cut out to the rest of the city itself. You just see a big white bubble. It's like, oh,
it's yellow. They never capitalize upon that either. Of like how she doesn't think it's weird that Death doesn't have a soul, but his son does.
Yeah, she's like, I guess it would make sense for Death not to have a soul. Does it?
He's very clearly mortal.
Also, I
He's a god.
One thing is how I always say it's like I love really good like I love slice of life things with like really good world design, and that's why I liked Soul Eater not so well. It's just because Death City is like a really cool designed city.
It's very toned down in that though. Like in Soul Eater, the original, it's very Halloween centered. And like a lot of skull motifs, but in this they kind of tone that back a bit.
There's also a lot more night in Soul Eater.
Yeah.
Like, we see a lot more at night. Also, did notice that the manga was published by Square Enix. For Soul Eater not.
Oh man, I can't wait to watch Spirits Awakening on this nice TV. I don't care what anybody says.
That's a reference I don't get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better that way.
Oh, that's never a good thing for you to say.
You'll see one day.
I find it interesting that in Soul Eater not we like the thing about the night is that there's only you only ever see the moon, like the weird moon, one time. You see the sun like a million times. You only see the moon one time. Like the weird. I love the laughing sun and moon though. It's so funny.
It's so fucking creepy looking.
It's just like Sumi's like, man, it's a hot summer day. She looks up.
I like when Spirit like takes Maka up to the roof. He's like, hey, you want to go watch the sunset? She's like, sure. Look at that, Maka. Look at the sun trying to fight the tiredness, but he's not gonna win.
Yeah, the sun's like falling asleep and shit. Which brings up some questions to like, what the fuck is on the other side of the planet then?
I don't understand. Like the sun and the moon thing is so weird. It's like, what are they? Like, how do they work? Because in like the opening monochrome, there's a part at the end where Tsumugi like grabs the sun, but it's not it's a real sun. It's not the silly haha laughing sun.
Yeah. Oh god, just Death City have its own sun.
Yeah,
so have a flat Earth. Was that what's going on?
That's what I'm thinking. Is like Death City specific. The sun and moon are specific to Death City, but that makes me question where the fuck do they go? Where are they?
They sink into the ocean.
Are they close or are they far away?
Also, the moon can be affected, but wait, no, because we see the moon in Italy.
We also do see like some shots where it's the way that the camera's positioned. It's behind the sun. And then it's like the city behind that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I did notice and see like the sun, the laughing sun never blocks out the sun, so like it is shining light.
What the fuck are these things?
Also, the moon could be affected because, like, in whatever episode that they show Krona, when
Bleeding.
When Ragnarok does the whole screaming thing, more blood comes out of it. Blood comes out of the moon. Say that. Just saying anything I would have to say.
I love Ragnarok's Deadpool-esque aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can deal with this. I know what you can deal with. Give me all your lunch money. What? You're not being very nice.
Oh, I forgot it. I forgot that it talked and it bullied him.
Yeah. You better get your stuff together, Krona. You gotta stop stretching my face. It will get stuck like that. I don't care what you say.
Their relationship was interesting.
You mean abuse?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I do want to talk about the darker bits because it's fairly happy-go-lucky until like Eternal Feather almost kills herself.
Yeah, and kills a couple of people, I think.
Yeah.
Kills anybody.
I know she injures.
And then it's just the finale is very dark and like fucking
Yeah,
Mei Mei's
hold on,
under
that's-
mind control trying to kill people.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
Sugimi gets stabbed.
Yeah.
I thought that like the weird like thing that Mei's like chanting is like weird, where she's like kill, killed them or whatever. It's like she keeps saying kill, but like different forms of it.
Her,
I think it's just like it's kill them all.
Yeah.
Kill them. Yeah.
but like with her cutesy voice, it's very disorienting.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have the intent, because she talks in kind of like a moe cutesy kind of, like a step above uwu speak. So like hearing her be like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill them all," it's a very juxtaposing sound.
Oh, I do like how Soul Eater not portrays like their souls and stuff. Like they're not just the orbs. They're like, or like it is the orb, but it's like it's them in a place, then also interacting with the souls. Like when Sugimi is dealing with her own stuff, and then Sugimi is also dealing with the trying to get Mei Mei back and get her memories and break her of the magic.
The only thing I'm kind of sad about that they didn't capitalize on that more is because in Soul Eater their worlds are very customized.
Mm-hmm.
Like Souls is like, the gallery with the piano. Tsubaki's is like, the water with like the big moon and the trees and stuff. So I kind of wish they would have done something like that for one of them.
But for Sugimi, it's just kind of a vast like ocean kind of thing.
Which exists, because I think that's how Maka's is as well. So I thought it was only a weapon thing, because we only really see the weapons in her world look like that. But I guess not.
It's like a training thing, maybe, because like either obviously the manga the guy who wrote it just didn't care, or like it's like a training thing. I don't know. I guess I imagine Sumigi's would probably be like her family home or something. It'd be like something really lame like that.
Probably.
Samugi's like so like vanilla. Like that's her character, so she's like a normal girl essentially.
Like I wonder if like in the training it's like you kind of have to mastering a weapon. You kind of develop your inner domain or piece.
I mean,
or
that'd be cool
whatever.
because it's kind of almost a Nordic thing. Small side tangent to pagan religion, specifically the Nordic branch. They have meditation things where like you're supposed to visualize your inner world. It's called your Well of Weir. And it can be portrayed in any way that you see fit, including many of the ways that they have examples like this. And the way that they talk about it, it's like warriors would develop this to focus before battle. So and especially considering Soul Eater pulls from a bit of every culture, I wonder if that's where they pulled that from, or if it was just something they thought was interesting from somewhere else.
I mean, a decent amount of cultures have that whole inner, I guess inner sanctum is probably the best word. Like that kind of like that self within yourself kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that. I guess that would just make sense for this.
But yeah. Very cool, very cool. I like the whole aspect of 2 Meisters, 1 weapon, because we've seen 2 weapons, 1 Meister before. And the only thing I kind of wish is they would have capitalized on their fighting styles being more different.
Yeah.
Because Anya's is definitely more finesse and accuracy versus Mei Mei's like power, but they don't show that off enough.
Now we just need 2 weapons, 3 Meisters.
Yeah, I feel like that was just like my only gripe with Soul Eater Na is like obviously like Sugi does care a little bit about like getting her edge and like deciding a Meister out of the 2, but they never train. Like they train besides like training in class. There's only one scene of them like training out of class,
Yeah.
and Sugi was training by herself to get her edge.
I mean, they show Anya practicing karate, but it's something else.
I mean, they were training as well, but I mean, like specifically Sugumi training and specifically her training with the Meisters.
There also is one thing that drove me fucking nuts when it happened, and it's when Sugumi runs into Anya, and then they're like, "All right, Sugumi, transform into a flying halberd."
What? Yeah.
I was like, "Are you no?" Like this, it's not gonna happen. And then it happens. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Well, that's Soul Resonance. Sorry.
It's not.
I love the design of the flying halberd though, like the little wing on top, and then I don't know if she always had that but she definitely had it after that point, which was like the thing at the bottom of the staff where it's just like
a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that again brings up that question: is like, can you customize yourself further from being a weapon? And if not, why can't everyone fly?
Also, I like the whole thing of weapons needing an edge, but like, what if you're a weapon that doesn't have an edge?
A gun.
Yeah, if you're a gun or you're a club, like what? What if you're a shield? There's been no shield weapons. Like, how do you get an edge on that? Like,
I don't know.
I don't quite know what the qualifications are for things that aren't bladed that need to be sharpened. Like,
I mean, yeah, it is kind of implied that like when you grow, your weapon grows with you. But there are certain weapons that it's like this is all you have. Like if you're a club, like you just become more dense, or do you get spikes?
I don't know. Like, because like for Liz and Patty, they don't shoot bullets; they shoot their soul wavelengths. Like, what do you refine on a gun like that?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying, I really love Patty and Liz in this.
Oh yeah,
They're really fucking funny.
Like that, yeah. Like they have a good little arc there, like of being these like delinquents to like actually like warming up to people.
I kind of wish we got more, not even backstory, I just kind of wish we got more context with Master, because he's like a very kind, open-hearted guy towards like these young girls.
I was just want to say that. It's like, why does Master care so much when these girls are ruining his business?
Yeah. Like, he's almost out of business in some points, but he's just like, no, they need a job, and they gotta be good because they're on parole. It's like, why do you care? Were you troubled?
Also, he has some crazy turnaround because, like, what did, like, I think, like, Anya, Tatsune, and Sugumi only worked for him for, like, what, a week? 2 weeks?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be, like, the whole thing is, like,
that,
they work there. That was the plot of it, but...
And they're like, alright, yeah, no, we need money for, like, a week. Alright, there we go. We got it. We're good. Now it's Liz and Patty, but then Liz and Patty work there for like weeks on end because they're on probation. It's like, but he says like, yeah, no, it's like we use this cafe as an opportunity to like show off the students of the not class or whatever. It's just like,
no, just students of the DWMA. But Liz and Patty are not students of the DWMA yet.
It's just like, what are you getting at with this, man? Like, like your turnaround goes from super quick to not at all. Like,
I mean, those cafes are always kind of weird to me to begin with, because they're almost very fetishy.
Yeah, because they're like maid-ish kind of cafe.
Yeah, like I mean, I can understand somewhat. I've seen some maid cafes where it's like the food looks really cutesy and good, but like then there's some where they're just kind of sexual, and it's it's like going to Hooters, but still, like that's not why they're going there, my man. It's not why they're in maid uniforms.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. 'Cause it's like a very normal looking cafe, but then he's got these like maid uniforms. I think the master might be into perhaps suspect things, getting high school girls to.
Maybe that's why he was in jail.
I mean, even worse. Like they weren't even high school. Like they were like middle school. Like they're 14.
Yeah.
Master, cool down. Master, no. You can't do
Yeah,
that.
no, I'm just gonna stop you right there and not ruin your master.
You can't do.
Just gonna stop you right there. The man's a treasure. He takes in the ill-fated youth and.
No one's gonna clean that. No one's gonna clean that glass except for him.
Ugh. I love how he also has one coffee grinder and one coffee pot.
Yeah.
Like, this man runs a cafe, and he's
And I see no cooking coming in. He still makes rice pilaf. It's like what? It's menus all over the place.
No, it's like, where's the cook?
also he has like tankards too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like the big like wooden kinds of fucking milk.
Fucking consistency of this restaurant is all over the place, and it's named after like a Starbucks. It's Death Bucks. So what?
Oh, I thought it was just Death Cafe.
No, it's Death Bucks.
Oh no.
So I do have to say, outdoor seating in an alley,
Mm.
Yeah.
like patio seating on in an alley. I was like, I guess.
You.
Yeah, I can see a moped that belongs to the guy who runs this place. That's
Ooh, a
the view that I
wall.
get.
Oh.
I do want to go back to like I like I wish Soul Eater Not was longer. Like, cause like my problem is that like they set up this really cool concept of like Tsumugi and Anya using different using different aspects of Tsumugi as a weapon.
Yeah.
Like, Anya uses the spear, and like Mei uses like the more of the axe part. I think she uses the scythe part because it's like an axe, and then the other end of the axe is like a scythe, and then the top is a spear.
Yeah.
Anya uses the spear. Mei uses the scythe thing, and then the third joke character is supposed to use the axe.
Oh, in the anime, Mei uses the axe because I really wanted them to do a scythe move, but they didn't.
Because like I said in the manga, they have a third Meister that is stated to specialize in the axe part of Tsumugi.
Huh.
But it's like, but it's just interesting because like gets bigger depending on like who's wielding it. But when they're both wielding it, it's just like really big, so they can both hold it. And the running bird attack, which is really cool.
Do you know what I forgot about? Which I going back to a little bit just to their personalities, but when they watch the like the gangster movie when they're sitting in the cafe.
Oh
Yeah.
Why are you guys still talking like that?
I like when Anya gets mad at Mei because she's still doing it. It's like, I told you to stop doing that.
But going back to the weapon thing, I like how, because when they're playing baseball, and Anya holds the baseball like a spear and like plays billiards with it. That was cool because it, kind of shown like, oh, she already knows kind of how to use spears or javelin-esque things. So when she used it later, it was like, oh, hey, callback. But then they just
Stab the baseball.
did they ever show Mei using her like ever aside from the finale?
They have the one, like, I mean, was it maybe they used her in the fight against the fucking knife guy, or was that Anya?
That was Anya. That's why I'm asking, because I saw that picture. I was like, wait a minute.
I mean, there is a training scene where Mei like, it's the right before they tell Tsumugi that she has to pick one of them by Halloween.
Yeah.
We get to see both of them do something. It's like Mei like chops the wood and then like knocks out another piece like far away, while Anya like cuts leaves. So that's like a little bit of their thing.
Aside from that, though, they really don't.
Yeah, like they don't really explore like a lot of their training. Also, like, but is Mei like good at fighting because of the witch, or did she already have really good combat prowess?
Yeah.
Because we don't know her past at all. Like Anya makes sense; she's got this royal karate.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a good question because, like, obviously she's here for a reason.
But she doesn't even know that reason.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know anything about Mei because she doesn't even know her own past, so we never learn anything about her.
And it kind of bothered me because, like, you know, when they brought up, it's like, oh, you know, it was probably the witch. They never confirm 100% that the memory thing was from the witch. Like, she could have still been kind of forgetful, just not that bad.
I mean, it definitely seemed like her memory got better after that point, so perhaps, but then again, it was only like half an episode.
Yeah. God.
Also, you guys watched the dub, so you probably didn't know the I don't know if you knew that the final attack they use, the spring bird attack. It's named after Tsumugi because her name means spring bird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why she's like, maybe consult me before you make up a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they brought up earlier, it's like in the first couple episodes, that her name means spring bird. I was like, okay, they'll probably bring this back at some point. I was right.
Oh yeah, also the last like 2 or 3 episodes has bomb ass music like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like you don't really notice the music until like the last 2 episodes, but it's just bomb as hell.
Oh, I didn't notice that the final episode of Soul Eater Not is called Soul Resonance. Because the first episode of Soul Eater is called Soul Resonance.
Because in that episode they get the soul resonance. They resonate souls with them.
Also, like a weird small point that they pointed out is that for some reason Death Academy has like 15 different sets of uniforms that you can mix and match.
Yeah, that's
Like,
kind of
you
weird.
also don't have to wear them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the weird part. She's like, oh yeah, you can also wear your street clothes too. It's like, what?
Yeah, why do you offer so many uniforms if you don't even have to wear them in the first place? Like, it's such a weird like aspect that they just it's like a throwaway thing. Also, speaking of music, I love Monochrome, the opening. Like, I didn't remember anything about Soul Eater Not, but that opening is still stuck with me over all these years. Like, as soon as I started watching it again, it hit me instantly. Like, that beginning part of them, like, stepping on the stairs and then jumping. Like, I felt like a wave of nostalgia hit over me about an anime I didn't even remember anything about. Like, oh, yes!
I like the part where they're dancing and they switch between the two. That was kind of cool. Because the music is very heavily used as the symbol between, like, bonding, and so is, like, dancing to a degree. So it's kind of cool to see that.
Oh yeah, the dancing.
I mean, I just love the way it flows all together. It's like, you know, there's like, I think because it's like it starts with like Tsumugi in the hallway like transforming into her scythe form, and then like they're dancing in that like void that's like the void that her soul is in. So it's like I guess that's supposed to be symbolic of them resonating. It's like the dancing. But it's just like her dancing with Anya, and then Anya kind of like tosses her a little bit, so she goes into Mei, and then like Mei picks her up, swings her, grabs Anya's hand, and they all jump together. It just flows really good. I just love like anime scenes that flow that good.
But yeah, feel that's a pretty decent place to wrap it up on, if you guys want to as well. So recommendations for regular Soul Eater, probably stick with middle schoolers.
Your little brothers to watch Soul Eater.
Yeah, like if you're listening to us, you're either the perfect audience for this, or you're definitely not the perfect audience for this, because we have a weird mixture of children and not children. And then for Soul Eater Not, kind of an older audience, I'd say. If you like romance, slice of life, Yuri stuff.
I mean, if that's what you get out of it, I never like. I mean, obviously Kim and Jacqueline was super fucking Yuri, but I never really got a whole Yuri thing out of it. It was more of just a power of friendship, slice of life thing to me.
But she's in love with love.
Yeah, that's my favorite. It's like I'm a 14-year-old girl who's in love with love.
Such a weird line.
Yeah.
Gargantus.
Gigantus.
I love her pose too. Like she does like the little like goes like back and then forward with her hands on her chest, and then just Maymay's just like Gargantus.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. You can find links to everything in the link dump. I am going to be throwing all of Soul Eater Not playlist in the link dumps. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Along with our Twitters and other social medias if you feel like following us. As always, we post twice a month. We'll occasionally have a special episode, so be sure to stick around for that. Next time, be sure to join us, for we shall be talking about Vocaloid. Possibly. We might be changing it up. And as always, have a good one.
Bye, Internet.
Gargantus.
Gigantus.
Gigantus.